Welcome to AquariumRadio.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Aquarium Radio at aquariumradio.com. And I'm your host, Janet Carol Lesson, and I'm here with my co-host, anthropologist, Dr. Sasha Alex Lesson. And on today's program, we feature an article called New Majestic Document Reveals U.S. Diplomatic Relations with Extraterrestrials, which was written by Dr. Michael Sala, and it is on the Extraterrestrial Contact show on the Aquarium Radio Network. And let me begin by introducing you to Dr. Sasha Lesson.
Aloha. It's a pleasure to share this article on the web by Michael Sala, who's a very, very thorough scholar, and really we can put a lot of confidence in the stuff that he's researched. Here's what he says in his article. We excerpted parts of it. A new leaked Majestic 12 document was released June 14, 2017, which describes a variety of extraterrestrial-related encounters with humanity. This document, Dr. Sala says, includes claims that Nikola-Tesla's pioneering radio broadcasts into outer space in the late 1800s alerted distant extraterrestrial to our existence, which led to them traveling to our planet, and later President Eisenhower, established full diplomatic relationships with the extraterrestrials in 1954.
So what we discovered is there are four basic types of extraterrestrial biological entities, also known as EBEs, which are thus far confirmed. And I'm going to tell you about them in descending order of their influence on our planet. First ones are Earth-like humanoids, and there are several variations that are more or less like ourselves. The majority of these are friendly, and they consist of the bulk of our EBE contacts, and most have a high degree of psychic ability, and all use science and engineering of an advanced nature. The next type are the small humanoids, or grays. And the grays are called that because of their hue of the skin that they possess, which is kind of a grayish tone. And the grays are sort of a drone. And they are not unlike worker ants or bees. And they are mostly under the psychic control of Earth-like humanoids. And those humanoids raise them like pets, or they're kind of like a slave. And assuming the grays are under benign control, then we think they are harmless.
That means they're harmless when good guys are controlling them.
Right, yeah. And then there's the non-humanoid EBEs. There are several classes, and they come from worlds where the dominant morphology took a different evolutionary course, and many are dangerous. Not because they have organized hostile intentions, but because such creatures do not hold human life as sacred. They don't have very high regard for human life. So thus far, contact has been minimal, and there's only been a handful of unfortunate encounters. And the last type are the transmorphic entities. And all these forms studied by Operation Majestic, of all the forms, these are the most difficult to understand or even give a description, because these beings or creatures exist in some other dimension or plane, which is to say they're not in our space or time. And they don't use devices or travel in space, and they're composed of pure mind energies, and they're capable of taking on any physical form that they channel their energy.
Into matter.
As matter, yes.
Okay, so most extraterrestrial interactions, then, says Sala, are friendly, especially those with the human-looking EBEs. They've engaged in a number of non-hostile interactions with humanity that date back at least to Nikola Tesla's pioneering radio and energy broadcasts in the late 1800s. You see, in 1899, Tesla, who introduced electrical power transmission in a laboratory device named after him, the Tesla coil, did research that has made this the saucer century. Tesla said you could directly broadcast pure electrical energies at a distance without losing any power, and you didn't need wires. So in 1899, with government and private science backing, Tesla went to Colorado Springs, and he gathered Earth's own magnetic field, and he used a huge transmitter to send signals to outer space. His idea was, I'm going to send this out to space, and whoever's living there will get it. He had no idea that the power he was generating was going through space and would cause havoc many, many light years away. He sent it. Without realizing it, his use of the Earth's magnetic field to direct radio transmission into space created a disruptive energy weapon. And that's what it was. And humanity was now on the galactic radar.
The extraterrestrial intelligences, which are known as EIs, they attempted to respond to Tesla's transmission in the form of binary code that they routinely use for long-range communications. Evidently, these energies act instantly at a distance and are not limited to the speed of light. And they asked that he cease sending. Of course, Tesla had no way of understanding the message he received back from space. Fortunately, the anger of local residents at the side effects of this research forced him to shut down the Colorado Springs experiments in the same year he began them. Good for us. So communications were instantaneous, and the speed of light is not an absolute limit, at least for the kind of communications used by the aliens. So Tesla's experiments ushered in the flying saucer age due to the powerful effect of his energy transmissions, which he had used. He used the Earth's magnetic field. This then was the actual start of the so-called flying saucer age in our times. Our people were on the verge of an explosion of technical progress. The EIs decided on a long-term program of carefully calculated and seemingly random contact with the eventual goal of raising our awareness of our place in the galactic community. With the advent of the atomic age, this program was escalated to include eventual diplomatic contact with many of Earth's governments. The same approach of staging apparent accidental contact was chosen for its low psychological impact on the human race. This was the situation in the case of the United States of America, and citing the Roswell, Aztec, New Mexico files.
So the briefing document that Dr. Sala is taking this from refers to the 1947 Roswell UFO crash and the national security mechanism that was developed to investigate it and keep secrecy. So there was a controlled landing of a flying saucer on March 25th, 1948 in Aztec, New Mexico. The controlled landing occurred in a small desert canyon on the private grazing land of a local farmer about 12 miles northeast of Aztec, New Mexico. And the saucer was about 100 feet in diameter. Inside its upper cabin, the investigators found the bodies of two small humanoids, about 4 feet in height, strapped into their seats. The extraterrestrials were dead. And in the document, it says that the extraterrestrial had died because of an atmosphere leak caused by an impact with a nearby cliff. And the report described the discovery of cryogenic tubes with human-looking babies in the lower level. And 4 of these babies were resuscitated.
Bodies, but they were babies. Go ahead.
A closer look at the sealed tubes, and the tubes looked like doors to a clothes dryer at a laundromat. Well, inside there was a complex form of refrigeration. 2 of these tubes were empty, and 12 contained the bodies of what looked like human adults and small children, as well as infants, all frozen as if preserved for specimens. The medical team was able to resuscitate one adult Earth-like humanoid, male, and 3 Earth-like humanoid infants, all about 6 months of age. 2 of the infants were male and 1 female. Wow. The rest of the infants and 1 more short gray-skinned, large-headed organism perished. Let's go over that again. That's really amazing. In the sealed tubes, there was 12 bodies of human-like adults and small children, and also infants, and they were all frozen. And the team of Earthlings, our guys, were able to resuscitate 1 adult-like humanoid male and 3 adult-like females and infants.
Yeah, infants, all about 6 months of age, 2 male and 1 female. So that's pretty amazing. I wonder where those people are today. If they were able to resuscitate them.
They're walking among us all day.
They might be walking among us. So the adult survivor, according to the briefing document, looked human, but was clearly an extraterrestrial, who, though they looked human, had physiological differences, which included having 2 livers. So this document described how diplomatic negotiations began with the surviving adult extraterrestrial. So President Truman, explained to the visitor that his intentions proved to be non-hostile, and he cooperated in an information exchange, he would be granted diplomatic status and soon be repatriated to his own kind when the arrangement could be made. To this he readily agreed, provided he was not asked to give away any scientific secrets that could alter the course of our natural cultural development. So altogether, the Aztec ABE lived under protective custody on the Los-Alamos complex for nearly a full year, from late April of 48 until March of 49, and that after that he was sequestered at a private safe house set up by Army intelligence, during which time he met with the president and other top government and military administrators prior to his being returned to his people in August of 49. He gave the scientists and the military debriefers a great deal of mostly non-technical information about his civilization and its motives for being, his motives and their motives for being on our Earth. And then the EBE saw little harm in allowing us to keep the remains of his spacecraft for study, since he felt our understanding of it would only gradually develop. He did suggest that his people would probably have to drop one in similar condition in the lapse of the Soviet Union, just for the balance of things to be sustained. And you are welcome to take this up with any higher authority you can find willing to listen to you if you do not approve of this. Okay, and
Scientists were told
that the human-like infants were destined for our world anyway. The human-like infants were destined for our world anyway, and we were welcome to keep them. Yes. So on August 21st of 49, the Aztec EBE was returned to his own kind at a meeting site southwest of Kirtland Air Force Base, and arrangements were made for a future meeting at the same location to open diplomatic relations.
In gifting 3 human-like extraterrestrial infants to American authorities, the intent was that the aliens would be raised in human society, and in the future they would help friendly relations between the EBEs and our world. And the same thing happened in Russia. In 1989, the alien children were also given to Russia. And the children now, Sulla said, would be about 40 plus years old.
In 89. In 99. So they're in their 60s now.
And
or even 70. Yeah, close to 70. 70s. Wow. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so the diplomatic treaty. So in 1954, Eisenhower went to Kirtland Air Force Base, and he established full diplomatic relations with the human-looking extraterrestrials. And the treaty was drafted by the director of Majestic 12 and a joint committee of extraterrestrial visitors and representatives of the U.S. Diplomatic Corps. It was ratified and signed at Kirtland Air Force Base on July 18, 1954, by President Eisenhower and an individual on behalf of the extraterrestrials.
And that's pretty much the end of what we have so far. I'm sure there's going to be more coming out about this.
We'll keep you informed.
It's being researched by many. It's not in our hands. I'm tracking down that it's been posted somewhere, so I will go and investigate that. But I wanted to get this out to you right away, so everybody can start researching it.
Right. So what Dr. Sala has done is he's shown that these claims that whistleblowers have been making, that the paid professional dissers have been dissing, are accurate. That indeed the extrabiological entities, the aliens, deliberately gave us healthy children to help us make the transition, that they were gifting us with craft, that they're willing to help us, but not so that we would overwhelm everybody on the planet. That's why they helped the Soviet Union too. And so overall, the EBEs, the extrabiological entities, the aliens, extraterrestrials, some of them we now know, of course, come from inside the Earth.
This means that a couple things that I wanted to point out. If they've been here since 48, my sister was born in 49, my brother in 47. So they're they're in their 60s. My brother's now 70. So they may be your parents or your grandparents. And if those are the ones that we discovered because of this crash, how many others were introduced into Americans or into human society and are walking among us, and probably they were breeding with us, and it could be thousands and millions. Who knows?
I've talked to a number of people and regressed people who say they are hybrids, who actually look different. I was actually on the stage in a conference with one very intelligent woman who says she's a hybrid, and I looked in her eyes. I used neuro-linguistic programming to tell whether she was fabricating or not, and she wasn't. She said she was a hybrid, and one guy in the audience stood up and said, hybrids should be killed, and chased her outside. Fortunately, there was an FBI guy there that helped me protect her. But we got to welcome these hybrids. They're people, for heaven's sakes.
Right, and they may be related to you, or you may be one. You may not. You may be one. You have no idea. We don't know what the differences are besides the two livers. And so the other thing that correlates with the research that I'm getting is Salo said, or the article by Salo said, that they were mostly friendly. And that's what and I will bring her on, Teresa Day Moore says that she worked with a large force of extraterrestrial biological entities, and all the ones she dealt with were friendly, and they were in a group space program, secret space program, venture outside of Mars. However, she did say there was a faction that was the negative side, which was very violent, and so that's why they were protecting the Stargate, the wormhole, because these other beings would be coming through. Go ahead, Sash.
Oh, I just want to say that when the our military, our clandestines, abduct somebody, and they usually do it with real abductees or contactees after they've been abducted, to find out what they learned about the spacecraft and the weapon system and stuff like that the military is interested in. Those are not friendly at all. These are rough. People are drugged. If they try to resist, they're hurt. They're dragged off, drugged, and in many cases they're used sexually. Or even killed, and so forth. So when our U.S. military, the MILABs, does the abducting, it's way different, and it ain't like the ETs, because they come in helicopters rather than spacecraft, and these guys are mean, you know the kind.
Anyway, I've been a lifelong experiencer contactee, and this correlates with my own research, which has been predominantly positive, even when I was involved with the military. So some people have negative experiences, some people have positive experiences.
And yeah, that's true. Some of there's different factions within our military. What Corey Good and others have said is that our admiralty runs they want disclosure, and they are into preserving whatever can be preserved of freedom and democracy. And the Air Force is in between. And the NASA is forget it. That's just a public show.
So we are on top of it, and we will get back to you when we learn more. So anything else you want to say, Sasha, before we sign out?
Thanks for listening. We'll keep you tuned in.
Yes, and thank you very much for listening. And please do join us on AquarianRadio.com, where we list all of our shows and have the links to all of our shows. And we are looking for a couple things. We're looking for people who want to come on our shows. If you're interested, you have a story to tell, you're a researcher, you have a book, a video, a documentary, whatever you're doing, we are really interested in collaborating with you and promoting the work and uncovering all these secrets like this and connecting the dots and awakening humanity and allowing us to become conscious and grow and evolve. And I want to join the Federation of Love and Light.
We do have some books on this subject. We have Experiencers, Conscious Contactees. We're conscious contactees who remember stuff, have written articles. And for those of you who've been, and we also have a book called Marduk, where we discuss some of the contacts people are having with the Anunnaki, plus actual Anunnaki people that we, Janet and Sasha, know. So we've got a lot to report in Marduk and also Experiencers. Get those books at Amazon.com.
And we have a bunch of books on the Anunnaki, and we have a new book on Experiencers coming out very shortly here in about another month. And so just stay tuned because we're obsessed. We keep writing and producing shows. I think that's sufficient for today. AquarianRadio.com, EnkiSpeaks.com, ExtraterrestrialContact.com, ExperiencersNetwork.com. We have a lot of stuff going on here. We look forward. We're going to Vegas in July, so please come over to meet us at the MUFON Symposium. And we have a lot of events coming up. Connect with our websites where we're going to post all these events, and do come up and say hi to us. We love speaking with you. Much love and blessings, and aloha.
Thanks for joining us today on Aquarian Radio. We broadcast daily, and our schedule is on AquarianRadio.com. Listen live by calling 646-649-0893, or you can listen live by calling 646-649-0893, or listen to our archives on AquarianRadio.com. Join us again soon, and do tell your friends. The age of Aquarius and the paradigm of peace is now.